What is going on, guys? Welcome back. My name is WolfeyVGC. I'm the 2016 Pokemon World Champion, and today I'm here to walk you through a Pokemon that I honestly really don't like at all. I do not like Torkoal. I'm not happy about it, but I feel obligated to cover it because a lot of people requested it. It's super popular right now, and people really like Torkoal. So even though I hate Torkoal a lot, I am here to tell you how to use Torkoal so that I can make myself more unhappy. So basically, here's what you need to know about Torkoal. It has the Drought ability, which is the only Drought user in VGC17, which makes it a very, very unique role. And in addition to having Drought, it has access to the strongest fire move there is, Eruption. A 150 base power if you're at full HP attack. We saw a lot of it last year on Primal Groudon, and on top of everything, it's super slow, so it's like the perfect Trick Room sweeper, where it sets itself up by having its Sun activate. It has like a super strong spread move, so it can blow through opponents, and it's like one of the slowest Pokemons. It's one of the slowest Pokemon in the game, with a base 20 speed, meaning its min speed stat is, I forgot, it's like 22. It's really slow. 22, yeah. And actually, so I wanted to walk you guys through kind of like a fun fact. Torkoal, actually, this isn't the first season that Torkoal has seen use. So back in 2013, Ray Rizzo, who is, in my opinion, the best Pokemon player of all time, he is the 3-time world champion, which is like an incredible feat. He won 2010, 2011, and 2012. And after he won 3 times, he stopped playing as seriously, as far as I could tell at least. And in 2013 Worlds, he brought a really cool team to Worlds. And so unfortunately, Nugget Bridge updated, and I couldn't find the full team article, but I found this one video of Ray using Torkoal. So we're not gonna watch this right now. This might be lagging really bad as well, but yeah, Ray used Torkoal before it had Drought. Drought is a new addition to Torkoal in 2017 in Sun and Moon. So it's a big buff to Torkoal. It makes it a lot better. Ray was using Torkoal because at the time, Amoonguss and Heatran were very, very popular, and Torkoal was able to underspeed Amoonguss and hit it very hard with Eruption, and it was also able to underspeed Heatran and use Earth Power. So I forgot his item. It might have been Fire. I think it was Fire Gem, but I'm not sure. Yeah, and so yeah, that's pretty much it. I thought I'd share that fun fact of VGC trivia. So Torkoal, actually, I believe it was 26th or 25th at Worlds. I wish I could find the article, but I found the place where it was, but it was taken down, unfortunately. So let's just jump right into it. First set, this is kind of your standard Torkoal set. I will warn you right now, guys, I haven't diversified the EVs a lot because Torkoal's a sweeper, and so there's not really a ton of point in changing, in deviating from these EVs, in my opinion. If you find something better, props to you, but yeah. So for this Torkoal set, Protect and Eruption are going to be standard on almost every Torkoal set unless you're doing something weird. I like Heat Wave personally because it's another spread move. The thing about Eruption is once you start losing health, your move gets a lot weaker. So you definitely want like a second fire type attack so that you're not reliant on Eruption to take advantage of the sun. And I personally like Solar Beam here to hit like random water type and rock type Pokemon that Torkoal's fire type attacks don't hit. So standard moves, pretty straightforward EVs, very min speed because with all these Torkoal you're intending to use them in Trick Room. So you could run more speed, but you'd need to be doing it on a specific reason, like if you had Thunder Wave or Tailwind or something that you wanted to take advantage of, or if you just wanted to outspeed other Torkoal out of Trick Room, or if you wanted to trick people and you wanted them to think that you were mid-speed and then that you weren't. So but other than that, you should probably be using mid-speed as like the baseline. So I just run some calcs, show you guys the power of Eruption. This is max special attack Torkoal versus Tapu Koko and Sun. So as you can see, Eruption always KOs. I'll use my new trick with the tabs. This is Eruption versus Lele, so it's always a 2-hit KO, which is, you might be like, okay, but Lele's going to do a lot back with Psychic. Like, even as you can see here, it's going to do a lot with Psychic. But the thing is that if you pair this with, like, Instruct, or if you, like, Fake Out, or, well, you can't Fake Out Lele, but, if you pair this with the way of, like, if you, like, basically, Lele can't switch in on Torkoal, and if you let Torkoal use Eruption twice, like, Tapu Lele is gone. And then, lastly, I was curious to see how much it would do to oh wait, okay, before I move on, so Eruption, yeah, you're like 60 to 70%, but if you're worried about that, check the Z moves on these just to see how much they do. So Heat Wave has a 62.5% chance to KO max HP Tapu Lele, and I'm not sure how much of that we're going to be seeing, and then Eruption always KOs at full HP. If you have less HP, it'll start doing less, like, if you're like 85%, I don't know. Oh, maybe it doesn't scale. I don't know how Eruption interacts with, Z Eruption interacts with your base HP, so I don't know about that. Maybe Z Eruption always does as much. I have no idea. Somebody should check that because it might just be this calc having an issue because it's a weird fringe case. And then lastly, excuse me, you can see Eruption is 43 to 50, and you're like, okay, so it's not even going to 2-hit KO Marowak, but that's why you have the Fire MZ so that you can see Eruption and then you take damage, and then you Heat Wave, you always KO with your Z Fire move. So in my opinion, that's pretty convincing. That's why you have Fire AMZ on this set, because it lets the things that want to switch into Torkoal not be able to switch into Torkoal anymore. So, moving on. Next set we have is Choice Specs. This set saw some play on some team. I don't remember which team it was. But basically, Choice Specs Torkoal it's much more of like a glass cannon, where it's not really a glass cannon, it's just like it's like a bomb, you know? Like, if it goes either it goes well and you get a free eruption off and you do like a massive amount of damage, or they damage you first and then your eruption to 0 and then you have to switch. You're in a terrible position. So this set is more volatile in my opinion. It definitely is more all over the place. Like, it either blows through people or it gets destroyed. Moves are, again, I've given Hidden Power Ice as the 4th to hit Garchomp, but like, you don't, like, the 4th move, you can experiment with that, because I don't even think Garchomp could switch into Eruption. In fact, I know that it can't. It just specs Eruption. So yeah, that's kind of just for low HP Torkoal, or like to Oko something, like a Garchomp. And here's the calcs here. So this is Eruption versus max HP Arcanine. You can see it always 2-hit KOs, which is ridiculous. Like, actually ridiculous. I hate Torkoal. It hits so hard. Nothing can switch into it. I do not like Torkoal. This is Eruption versus Marowak, so always 2-hit KOs with Eruption, so like Marowak can't switch in. And then lastly, we have Eruption versus Tapu Lele, who I showed you before. Now it has a really good chance to Oko, if they're probably the most specially bulky that you can expect to see. So, yeah, I do not like Torkoal. Is a short version. And then lastly, last set we have is this Charcoal set. Again, same EVs, guys, just because you're going to want max special attack because Torkoal's a sweeper, and then because Torkoal's HP without investment is only 145, as you can see, like, it doesn't make a ton of sense to invest in his other stats, but I'm not, like, there are people who are better at, like, effort values and, like, calculating good spreads than I am, but for me, especially if you're just wanting to test, like, you can tweak, if you get, like, OCO'd by something weird, you can start experimenting with it, but I wouldn't initially mess around with it too much. I think max HP, max special attack is a pretty good way to go. But anyway, moving on. Same moves here. I've put Flamethrower over Heat Wave, and on any of these sets, you can put Flamethrower over Heat Wave. You could put Sludge Bomb over Hidden Power, over Solar Beam, I mean, but I don't really know why you use Sludge Bomb stuff, because Sludge Bomb is good versus grass types, and you have fire moves. Yeah. Yeah, so Charcoal, again, it doesn't seem like too fancy, but it actually changes the calc. So without Charcoal, this isn't going to always 2-hit KO on no bulk Arcanine, but with Charcoal, like, so as you can see, it's like, okay, no bulk Arcanine, you're never 2-hit KOing, but if you add Charcoal, like, now you're always going to 2-hit KO, which is, like, pretty significant in my opinion. And then this is Charcoal Eruption versus Marowak. So as you can see, without Charcoal, like, put Chopper Berry, you can see, like, it's the same thing as Arcanine. This is max HP Marowak. So with Charcoal, you're able to pick up the 2-hit KO way, like, 100% of the time if they only have max HP and no special defense. Though if you want a better Marowak EV spread, you can check it out in my channel, because I already covered that and I gave some EV spreads. And then lastly, this is just versus Garchomp. So as you can see, it's not going to 2-hit KO. Should I Charcoal on this thing? Yeah. It's not going to 2-hit KO, but this is just to show you guys how much this does, and just to give you some context. So if you make this, let's take away Charcoal for a second. Sure, Scarf. Yeah, it's a good item. If you do, like, Eruption and Heat Wave, or I guess Eruption and then Z Eruption. So it did like about 38%, and then it did like about 70%. So you can KO Garchomp with Eruption and Z Eruption. And then other thing is with Choice Specs, you're always going to 2-hit KO Garchomp. So yeah, that's pretty convincing in my opinion. With Eruption, of course. Once you take damage, your second attack will do less. But you're probably wondering, okay, Wolf, like, well, you talked a lot about using 2 Eruptions, you've talked a lot about 2-hit KOing stuff, but how am I going to do that without taking damage? And I answer you that. Let us take a look at some of the partners. So the most common partner I've seen is this Lilligant. It is protected as after you, and then probably a grass move like Energy Ball or Leaf Storm. And then that's not how you spell that. I don't know what the item is. You can mess around with the item. There are options. And basically the idea here is that Lilligant's Chlorophyll ability means that in Sun, its speed will double. So Lilligant can very easily go for an after you on its partner Torkoal and then launch an eruption. So this is like an easy way to launch Specs eruptions because it's really hard to stop. People have been running Sleep Powder on Lilligant. I don't know. Anyway, people have been running Sleep Powder, but personally, just because of my own personal beliefs, I don't like Sleep Powder as a move, because if you go for a Sleep Powder and you miss, sometimes you lose the game. So like you should be like. Whereas if you hit it, you don't always win. So I'm not a huge fan of Sleep Powder, but on a hyper-offensive team like this, it definitely has its uses. Yeah, Lilligant is Lilligant, I don't know, guys. Please tell me in the comments down below. I have no idea at all. But it's a very good partner for Torkoal. Chlorophyll doubling its speed makes it very threatening. After you allowing Torkoal to use very powerful eruptions is very, very convincing. And there are other options you can do with Lilligant as well. Next up we have Garchomp. I like Garchomp because I guess I have like, I don't want it to be level 100. Level 50. I like Garchomp with Torkoal because Torkoal's fire type attacks are resisted by rock, water, and dragon. And Garchomp hits rock for super effective damage, it hits dragon for super effective damage, and even though he doesn't hit water for super effective damage, he has earthquake. He has like strong earthquake. He can use a Z move of his own if he wants to. He can use Dragon Claw, he can Focus Sash, he can use Yachi Berry, and he's also, so Garchomp is weak to fairy type Pokemon, but Torkoal is good versus fairy type Pokemon because eruption is super, super strong, and fairy is like resisted by both fire and only fire because Torkoal isn't dual type, but fairy is resisted by fire, so like fairy types don't love Torkoal either. I mean, Tapu Koko and Tapu Lele both have strong secondary attack, or I guess fairy is a secondary attack typing, whatever. They both have other typings that can hit Torkoal pretty hard, but nonetheless, I think Garchomp Torkoal is actually pretty good. And then lastly, and then probably the best partner, I think Garchomp is more of like Oranguru and Lilligant are more for teams built around Torkoal, and Garchomp is kind of more for a team that has Torkoal on it. And actually, if you look at this match, you can see that Ray also paired Torkoal with the Garchomp of its time, which was Landorus, so that's fun. But that played a very different role, don't get me wrong. Like, that was, like, Intimidate and U-Turn, but it was also strong ground typing. But yeah, anyway, Oranguru is also very, very, very good with Torkoal because it can instruct, so, like, it sets Trick Room for Torkoal, and it can instruct it to use Eruption twice, and as you guys saw from the calcs earlier, 2 eruptions is, it kills everything. Like, everything is dead, so you don't want to be taking 2 eruptions if you're on the other side of a Torkoal. So yeah, I think that's why Oranguru is really good. This set is taken from my Oranguru video. I will link it in the description down below if you're interested in checking it out and finding out what these EVs do. I really like Oranguru, and it pairs very well with Torkoal. It's like one of the best partners for Torkoal in my opinion, and I really hate Torkoal a lot. It's just so dumb. Like, it kills everything. It's really hard to stop. I don't like Torkoal. Not happy. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I will not take any more time. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you have suggestions for what you want me to cover next, I have no more ideas. I'm recording this an hour and 20 minutes before I post it, and I don't know what I'm going to record next, but I will be recording before tomorrow. So if you have Pokemon you want me to cover, I will be reading the comments, and whichever Pokemon are the most popular are the ones that I'll be most likely to cover. So thank you again for watching. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe. If you like this video, please make sure to leave a like, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.